listening to the Sportcat Show.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the one, the only Sportcat, the boss jock. I have the keys to the car. We are live on Radio X in Australia, Dare Media in Australia, Yerg's Radio in Tampa, Florida, and, well, some other places. We're on Kick, Twitch, Trovo, just name something. I'm on it. So let's get to the chat because, well, they've missed me. And I hate this chair. I'm sliding out of it. Hello, Denise. Welcome, welcome. Glad to see you here. And Chris is here. Well, no, I'm sorry. Chris is down here. Sorry. Chris. Hello, Chris. Welcome. And Chris, we had a very intense argument one time about how do I want to say this? We were simulating if a house was broken into and you were a police officer responding to the scene and you were the first one there and you see the house is being broken into and you're a police officer, what is your duty? Your duty is to catch the bad guy. Well, let's just say for a minute here, you said, oh, bad guy, I want you to get away here before the other guys come. Here's a cell phone and here's a credit card. Go to this area and meet Bob and hide. If you were a police officer and did that, would you be prosecuted? I'm asking for a friend. So, and so if your country's being broken into illegally and you facilitate it, is that not a crime too? All right, so let's get in here. Chris says, do you think it's gang related? Who cares? Unreal. Talking about the Chicago thing. We'll get into that in a minute. And he says a law enforcement veteran investigative still would utter those words. Well, yeah. And he says, busing is not a theory. Liberals are all for sending the results of their horrible policies elsewhere when it starts affecting their own. Illegals are coming onto Indian lands as well when they cross the border. Does everyone coming into the country get an FU from the Indians? That's also a double standard. That's a good point, Chris. I hadn't thought about that. Huh. Okay. I will think about that one. That's a valid point. I like that. Because, I mean, let's just be honest. As Americans, we may have taken this. I'm just saying. You know, we've been a bad guy. We've been mass murderers. Americans aren't scandalous, is that the word? So, all right, well, it is 1:23 on the East Coast, Wednesday, August 27th. It's 10:30 a.m. in LA, Denver. Hello, good morning, 11:23. Hello to you, Chris. Good afternoon in Chicago at 12:23. And we are looking at our friends down in Perth. Hello, good morning to you. It is 1:23 a.m. and good morning. And we're doing overnight Sydney. Good morning. It's 3:23. Whew. And it's tomorrow there. That's so weird to me. So, all right. Well, good morning. Let's carry on. We are out of here. We have started off with a bang today. So let's do on this day. And I got all kinds of alarms and things going off. It's probably the CIA. I don't know. So we start off every day with what happened today in history. Today, we're going to do a little weird one because I added a different thing. 479 BC. Wow, we're going way back. The Greco-Persian Wars, Battle of Mycale, is won by Greek forces over Persian naval troops on the Ionian land. So we were fighting all the way back then. We're still fighting. Yeah, we were still fighting. We're not happy unless we're fighting. 663, there's another battle of Tang. No, wait a minute. That's the name of the battle. Tang Chinese and Silya Korean forces defeat Bakaiji. I'm probably really butchering that. Korean forces on their Yamamoto Japanese allies on the Guam River in Korea. The last Japanese invasion of Korea for 900 years. And that kick viewer, just go away. I'm tired of you, kick viewer. 1789, French National Assemblies declare the Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen. Do we still have that? 1883, Krakatoa, it's a big volcano in Indonesia, and it erupted with a force of 200 megatons, killing 36,000 people. It's horrible. 1928, Kellogg brand packed 60 nation. Packed cis. We're going to try this all again. 1928, Kellogg brand packed. That's a pact. 60 nations agree to condemn the recourse to the war of the solution of the international controversies. Damn, that was a lot to say, and I don't know what the hell it means. 1979, Lord Mountbatten, first Earl Mountbatten of Burma, cousin of Queen Elizabeth II, and last Viceroy of India, is killed, along with 3 companions, 2 of whom are children, by the IRA when his boat is blown up near Sligo, Ireland. 2008, U.S. Senator Barack Obama becomes the first African American to be nominated by a major political party for President of the United States by the Democratic Party. 1950, the first transmission of a TV program from continental Europe airs on the BBC. 1964, Walt Disney's musical film Mary Poppins, directed by Robert Stevenson and starring Julie Anderson and Dick Van Dyke, with songs by Richard and Robert Sherman, premieres at Grumman's Chinese Theater in LA and wins 5 Academies. 1965, the Beatles spend an evening with Elvis Presley at his Los Angeles home. Interesting. 2004, German kayaker Bright Fischer wins the gold in the K4 500 meter and K2 500 meter in Athens. She is the first woman in any sport to win medals at 6 different Olympics, with 24 years apart, and the first person to win 2 or more medals in 5 different games. All right. Didn't our swimming guy, didn't he do a lot of that too? I don't know. Let's see. Another one we'll kind of, we're not even going to look at back 410. We don't care. I shouldn't say we don't care, but we don't remember those things. In 1896, the Anglo-Zanzibar War begins and ends, the shortest war in history. It's fought between the British Empire and the East African island Sultanate of Zanzibar. The war, which was fought over the succession of the next sultan, lasted for 38 to 45 minutes. A Zanzibari prince who was angry about Britain's choice for the successor took over his palace, so the British bombarded it. Only 1 British soldier was injured, while the princes suffered 500 casualties. 1955, the Guinness Book of Records debuts. We know that book very well. 1964, Edmund Kemper commits his first murder. American serial killer Edmund Kemper commits his first murder at the age of 15 when he shoots his grandmother in her kitchen after an argument. He then killed his grandfather when he returned home later that day. He was committed to a state hospital in California and released on his 21st birthday. He later murdered 8 women, including his mother, in a series of horrific attacks become known as the Coed Killer. Brian Epstein, wonder if he's any relation. The man who discovered the Beatles, became the band's first manager, dies at the age of 32 of an accidental drug overdose. Interesting. Yeah, KG, I got that one. Let's see here. Make sure I'm in the right place. We just covered that. And we will go to what is today. It's National Today. Every day has a National Today. So it's International Lottery Day. It's Crab Soup Day. I'm not really sure if I like crab soup. Chris says, if some people don't care about gang activity because it hurts their argument, we shouldn't act the same way in their case. Chris, I'm with you. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Lyndon Baines Johnson Day, Moldova Independence Day, National Just Because. Well, see, Chris, there's your argument. Just because. National Petroleum Day, National Pots de Creme Day, and the Duchess Who Wasn't Day. What? The Duchess Who Wasn't Day. That's okay. All right. Well, the Duchess Who, it wasn't her day. Oh, and I am babysitting for the puppies while my daughter takes somebody to a doctor's appointment, so I have the grand puppies. It's National Peach Day and National Just Because Day. Let's look at some birthdays and events. And Hannibal Hamlin, the 15th VP of the United States in 1809. James Henry Breasted, an archaeologist and historian who was the first American to obtain a doctorate in Egyptology, which is the study of Egypt. Charles Dawes, the 30th VP of the United States. I don't remember any of these names. John Hay Whitney, founder of the J.H. Whitney Company. It's a motor company, isn't it? Lyndon B. Johnson, 36th president. Carter Stanley, the lead singer and guitarist for the bluegrass band Stanley Brothers. Ira Levin, critically acclaimed author who wrote Rosemary's Baby, Boys from Brazil, and This Perfect Day. Jeff Crook, a country music guitarist and fiddler from the band Alabama. I like them. Paul Rubens, he's an actor, comedian. He's best known as Pee Wee Herman. I wasn't aware Pee Wee had passed away. All right. Passed away in 23. Carissa Moore, world surfing champion. Yeah, memorable events. 1832, the Black Hawk War between the Sai tribe and the U.S. ends after the leader Black Hawk surrenders. Well, was it in Florida? In 1859, the first successful and commercial oil well is drilled in Titusville, Pennsylvania. 1918, the Spanish flu arrives in Boston when two sailors report flu-like symptoms. 1927, the oldest aviation school in America, Parks College, opens in St. Louis. All right. Let's see. I got this new one over here. And yeah, exactly, Chris. Exactly. She won't let it happen on her watch. Let's see here. This is the Andrews McMeel Almanac. So I just thought I'd check this out. Today is the 239th day of 2025 and the 69th day of summer. Yeah, I feel in every one of them up here in Mom's attic. Today in history, 1859, Edwin L. Drake found oil with the first successful oil well in the U.S. in Pennsylvania. We talked about that. Kellogg brand in 1928, which outlawed war and provided guidelines to peaceful conflict resolution, was signed by 15 nations in Paris. 1979, British war hero Lord Louis Mountbatten said 3 others were killed in a boat explosion for which the IRA, the Irish Republic Army, claimed responsibility. 1999, the final crew left Russia's Mir space station. And we talked about birthdays already, but George William Frederick Hegel, philosopher, Theodore Dreiser, he's a novelist, and Lyndon B. Johnson, president. And let's see, Jasmine actor Caesar Milan, the dog trainer. It's his birthday. Happy birthday. Chandra Wilson, she was an actress. Sarah Chalky was an actress as well. And Aaron Paul. Don't know any of those people. Today's fact. All right, you're going to love this one. Valles Marineris, probably said it wrong, canyon system on Mars, also known as the Mars Grand Canyon, stretches for 2,500 miles and is 4 miles deep. Today in sports, 1982 A's left fielder Ricky Henderson stole his 119th base of the year, setting a new single record. He went on to steal 3 more bases by the end of the game, and finished the season with 130 stolen bases, a record that still stands. Today's quotes, this definitely implies to podcasters, words are but the vague shadows of the volumes we mean. Little audible links they are, chaining together great inaudible feelings and purposes. Today's number, 43,129,566. Number of votes cast for Lyndon B. Johnson in the 1964 presidential election. Johnson won 61.1% of the popular vote over his opponent, Republican Senator Barry Goldwater of Arizona, in the most lopsided win since James Monroe re-election in 1820. Today's moon, well, it's between a new moon, which is August 22nd, and the first quarter moon, which is the 30th. So there you go. So I don't know if I'm going to keep this one or not, but it seems pretty decent. And if you even want to, we can even talk about some astrology, but I don't know that I believe in that. So, but hey, we could do it if you wanted to. No, we're not going to look at it today. We get too much to do. All right, so it was breaking news at 8:30 this morning, local time in Minneapolis. There was a shooting at a Catholic school. Minneapolis shooter, 8-year-old and a 10-year-old were killed, 17 others hurt in the Catholic school. An 8-year-old and 10-year-old were shot and killed when a gunman fired shots through the window of a church at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis on Wednesday morning. 17 others, including 14 children, were injured in the shooting during a mass that marked the first week of school, police said. 2 children are in critical condition. The gunman died at the scene. He was behind the school with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So the mass shooting unfolded just before 8:30 a.m. local time when the gunman approached the side of the building and fired a rifle through the church window towards the children and others worshiping sitting in pews. Dozens of rounds were fired, the chief said, and he called it a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshiping. The gunman, described as in his early 20s, was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. The police believe he fired from all 3 weapons. We are looking through information left behind to try and determine some type of motive, the police chief stated. These kids were literally praying. An emotional Minneapolis mayor, Jacob Fry, said at a news conference, it was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence. And their parents should have the same kind of assurance. This kind of evil should never happen, and it happens far too often. Students in the pre-K through 8th grade attended the school. Young children wearing the uniforms were seen leaving the school holding their parents' hands. I'm praying for all of our kids and teachers whose first week of school was marred by this horrific act of violence, and quote from Tim Walz, the governor, on social media. Brian Liege, who lives 2 blocks from the school, told ABC News he was having breakfast with his daughter when he heard dozens of gunshots over 2 to 3 minutes. My husband's a firefighter, and he got a phone call this morning that said there was an incident at the Annunciation, and that's where my niece and nephew go to school, so he just took off on foot. Emily Feist told NBC News Local, we heard about 15 minutes ago, they're all safe, but it's awful and so scary. President Trump wrote on Truth Social that he's been fully briefed on the tragic shooting. The White House will continue to monitor this terrible situation. Please join me in praying for everyone involved, he wrote. Trump called Waltz after the shooting to offer his condolences, a source told ABC News. So it's a breaking news situation. There will be more updates on this as we go along throughout the day. So just think about all the people that were just going to school, just doing their thing, and were gunned down. And also, excuse me, also, over the weekend in Minneapolis, 8 people were murdered. So apparently it's not as safe as we'd like to think. It's not as safe as we'd like to think anywhere, really. So Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce actually got engaged almost 2 weeks ago, according to his dad. Well, here we go. Breaking news. This came out yesterday while we were on the air. One of our regulars sent it to me, Chris. Thank you. He said he had a reliable source from Miss Swift. Travis actually did the proposal, maybe 2 weeks ago. Not quite, his father said. It's a love story, the likes of which could be lifted from any number of Taylor Swift's album. Tay-Tay engagement to NFL star Travis Kelce, however, was no surprise to the inner circle. On August 26th, Kelce, the Super Bowl winning tight end, officially put a ring on it when he and Swift announced that they were, quote, tying the knot. That's old news in the Kelce family. Kelce's father, Ed, said his son proposed to Taylor earlier this month. Speaking with News 5, Ed said, Travis actually did the proposal, maybe 2 weeks ago, not quite 2 weeks. His father continued, he was going to put it off until this week. I think she was getting maybe a little antsy, but he's going to put her off till this week to, make some grand thing to make it big special event. And I told him repeatedly, you could just do it on the side of the road. Do it any place that makes it a special event when you get down on one knee and ask her to marry you. On the big day, Travis popped the question. It was in the garden at his home in Lee's Summit, Missouri. He got her out there and they were about to go out to dinner. And he said, hey, let's go out and have a glass of wine. They got out there and that's when he asked her. And it was beautiful, said Ed. They started FaceTiming me and their mother and her folks to make sure everybody knew. So we saw them together. It was great. Kelce family is thrilled to welcome the new superstar edition. They're just two young people, very much in love, casted a spotlight they haven't really sought, but kind of followed their success in their respective fields, according to his father. So, and what will be remembered as one of pop culture's moments of the decade, Swift and Kelce deliver the good news via a joint Instagram post, sharing a photo of the footballer down on one knee as Swift lovingly cradled his face. Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married, they quipped in the caption. The post also features photos from the couple embracing in the garden, as well as flowers, and they snapped off photos of her gold engagement band with a massive diamond in the center. The romantic update comes about after 2 years of dating, during which Swift and Kelce dominated headlines across sports, music, and every other beat as Americans' golden couple. Janice says, let's see how long that lasts. Well, as I was telling Yergs, he married up. Even though he's a millionaire, he married up. So, just saying. Good for them. I wish them happiness and success. All right, so I don't know if any of you guys have followed it, but it's kind of been, breaking news here lately. Cracker Barrel, they caved in. It's an old country store restaurant. They went back to their logo after a blowback. Well, Cracker Barrel will bring back its old logo after days of ruthless criticism and plummeting stock prices. It's botched rebranding. The company, led by CEO Julie Fess-Massino, ignored warning signs and criticism for months ahead of the announcement last week that the restaurant chain would ditch its old logo and give its stores a modern look. The company appears to have walked back part of that decision on Tuesday. We thank our guests for sharing your voices and love for Cracker Barrel. We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain, the company said in a statement, according to Fox News host Brett Baylor. At Cracker Barrel, it's always been and always will be about serving up delicious food, warm and welcome, and a kind of country hospitality that feels like family. As a proud American institution of 70,000 hardworking employees, look forward to welcoming you to our table soon, the statement concluded. Cracker Barrel's reversal on its rebranding comes after the decision to, quote, replace the old timer with brown text on a sterile yellow emblem. To the attention of President Trump, he advised the brand Tuesday morning to reverse course. The company apparently heeded the advice hours later. Cracker Barrel should go back to the old logo, admit a mistake based on customer response, which is the ultimate poll, manage the company better than before, President Trump said on Truth Social. They got $1 billion worth of free publicity if they play their cards right. Very tricky to do, but a great opportunity. Have a major news conference today. Make Cracker Barrel a winner again. Remember, in just a short period of time, I made the United States of America the hottest country anywhere in the world. 1 year ago, it was dead. Good luck, the president stated. Following the announcement that Cracker Barrel was returning to their former logo, Trump responded on Truth Social, congratulating the brand on their decision. In the months leading up to the rebanding, Sardar Bigari, a top investor in the Old Country store, struck out at the board letters to shareholders in a failed bid to replace two board members, warning calls they were repeatedly ignoring, according to Fox Business. In October of 2024, a letter that she called President Bigari called Cracker Barrel's moves a rebrand, obviously folly, and said the company was, quote, in serious perilous times. A month later, she issued a warning letter. If you had $100 in Cracker Barrel stock in 2019, 5 years later, it's worth $30. Therefore, there is just $30 to go out before the entire investment is lost. He struck out at his board. They value collegiality over accountability. And let's see. Chris says, my source was very upset that she was on the phone at work and was told that it happened by her boss. She takes pride in being the first to know Taylor Swift things. KG states, I'll never understand why Cracker Barrel's woke liberal CEO is still employed. Yeah, you know, she drove the company to the ground. Isn't that reason to get fired? The CEO said in an interview days earlier, all her employees were on board and wanted the new logo. She managed to not only piss off her customer base, but her workforce as well, Chris said. Yes. Some things you don't mess with. I mean, it's like Coke. They tried new Coke many years ago. So let's look at some funny X posts or tweets. Steak and Shake, well, they got hats on sale. Fire Cracker Barrel CEO. That's great. Let's see. They said the $700 million remodel logo is insane. It's bland, soulless, and an unnecessary waste of money. Instead, use this money to keep prices down to support American families. And while you're at it, go back to making fresh biscuits every day. Yes, that's been a huge complaint online, is their biscuits are now hard as a rock. Trump responded on Truth Social, congratulating on changing the logo back to what it was. All of your fans very much appreciate it. Good luck in the future. Make lots of money. Most importantly, make your customers happy again. And I'm sorry, I just can't help but look at that and go, hell yeah. This right here is what winning feels like. So right there, that was a post on X by the president, and I like it. You may not, but I do. America is back. Let's see. And I think that was all. The world is healing. That one's self-explanatory. Doesn't need any description. Delusional CEO. There you go, Chris. Look at the share price. I don't have the number there, but it just kind of went down to almost nothing. And does she really wear glasses? A lot of these people wear fake glasses. Why? I can't stand wearing them. So, and then somebody else wrote, are you going to end your racist DEI policies, or is it lip service? I love it. Go woke, go broke. All right. So those are just some funny X's, tweets. What do they call them now? They're X's? I don't know. So you can go just search for the hashtag Waffle Houses. I just can't. Sometimes these things just make themselves funny. I just can't. I'm not making fun of anybody. That's a funny picture. So I'm on board for a funny picture. So there we go. The old man is upset. Oh, there we go. That fits the bill. So yeah, we want Land O'Lakes. We want Uncle Ben back, and Jemima. Who's the one in the middle? Who's that one? I don't remember who he is, but we want them back too. Bring them back. So a white liberal woman destroyed a company. Could be. All right, we're going to move on from this because, well, it's funny, but we've got other things to talk about. So let's talk about microplastics. Seems to be a trending news. The health effects of microplastics. Did you realize you drink out of a plastic bottle? We microwave our food in a plastic bowl. We eat off of paper plates. All these things contain microplastics. Dear doctors, the more I read about microplastics, the more I want to do something to lower my family's exposure to them. This is a letter written to the two doctors. Any thoughts? Also, what is so much worse about microplastics than dust or pollen? To which the doctor replies, for those who are not familiar with the term microplastics, it refers to tiny particles of plastic that range in size from smaller than a grain of sand to microscopic. Some of these particles are added to a wide range of product to act as thickeners, or exfoliants are to add structure and texture. However, the majority enter the environment when products are made with plastic, undergo wear and tear. It is estimated that between 10 to 40 metric tons of these minuscule pollutants are released into the environment each year. Researchers have found microplastics in fresh snowfall in the Antarctic, in the cloud vapor at Mount Everest, and in the Mariana Trench, the deepest region of the ocean we know. They have even found in meconium, which is the first bowel movement of a newborn infant. Wow, I didn't know that. Unlike natural materials, plastics do not decompose or degrade. Instead, they split, break, shatter, and then crumble into even smaller particles. These particles become small enough to be swallowed, inhaled, or absorbed through the skin. They are also able to penetrate cell membranes, enter the bloodstream, and even cross the blood-brain barrier. This is due to their chemical properties and their minute size, often near nanometers, which is far smaller than the dust or pollen you ask about. And I like it, Chris. Oh, I like that. The chemicals contained in microplastics have been shown to accumulate in body tissues. They can lead to bioactive effects, including including causing inflation, changing hormone interactions, altering immune response, disrupting the gut microbiome, and causing physical damage. Microplastics are easily bound to heavy metals, endocrine disruptors, and so-called forever chemicals, and they can carry them into the body. To start reducing the microplastics around you, avoid single-use water bottles and food containers. They not only shed microplastics in their contents, but they also become a major source of environmental pollutions when discarded. Even to-go cups in coffee shops are lined with plastics, so bringing a non-plastic cup can reduce that exposure. Many of us rely on plastic bags and wraps for burgers. However, they also transfer microplastics into their contents. And don't use plastic wrap in the oven. This causes a chemical to leach out. You might consider investing in a good water filter and in a stainless steel or microwave-safe glass container for food storage. Speaking of food, you'll find fewer microplastics in fresh, unprocessed foods and in those that sit lower on the food chain. Even our clothes, many of which contain synthetic fabrics, shed microplastics when we wear them down and when we wash them. Opt for natural fabrics when shopping, like cotton, linen, and wool. The United States Environmental Protection Agency is a good resource for guidance about products that are free of microplastics. You can go visit the EPA.gov Safer Choice. And remember, as with any change, it's easiest to undertake it in increments. If any readers have suggestions, let us know. We'd love to hear them. So that's been breaking across many news places today. Yes. Yeah, I saw that, Chris. It was great. And people just don't realize the health risks that this is causing to us. And we ingest some of them unintentionally, some of them intentionally. And like, for instance, in our house, we have forbidden shredded cheese. Instead, we shred our own because even though it's harmless, there's wood pulp, sawdust, in your shredded cheese to help it gain weight so that they can therefore sell more cheese. So yeah, we don't do that anymore in our house. We shred our own. It's just a little thing, but and my daughter Paige, for Wyatt, we are trying to go, well, for the child, we're dye free. We're trying to go plastic free, and I don't know, he'll probably grow up and beat the hell out of me, but we're trying. All right. Cases of deadly disease emerge in another New York City borough after an outbreak kills 6. Officials have determined an outbreak of the disease in the water system of a Bronx apartment building. The New York Health Department has launched an investigation after at least 2 cases of Legionnaire were detected in the Bronx. 2 residents of the Parkchester North condominiums tested positive for the disease within 10 months of each other. A full evaluation of the building is still underway. The cases are thought to be related to the building's internal hot water plumbing system, according to health officials. Residents of the 4,000-unit building will have to use extreme caution as the building undergoes extensive remediation that could take months or years, the health department officials warned. At least 6 people have died. More than 100 have fallen ill in Harlem from a outbreak of the disease over the summer. Bacteria that causes the disease was found in 12 cooling towers on 10 buildings in Harlem, including a city-run hospital and sexual health clinic, according to health officials. Last week, a lawsuit was filed. Last week, a lawsuit was filed that accuses 2 construction companies of causing the outbreak. The lawsuit alleges that the contractors are to blame for the, quote, completely preventable outbreak of Legionnaire's disease in Harlem because of frugal business practices to make a greater profit off of their project. Legionnaires is a type of pneumonia that is triggered by Legionella bacteria, which forms in warm water. Residents have been warned to monitor for symptoms which tend to appear within 2 to 10 days after exposure. Common symptoms of the disease include headache, muscle ache, shortness of breath, cough, and fever. Health officials have cautioned that the disease is not spread from person to person and can be treated with antibiotics. If you want to find more information, you can go to the CDC and the New York Health Department website to get more information. Yep, they're trying to make more money. So I wonder, something that wasn't mentioned in that article, but most homes now, didn't we switch to all plastic plumbing in houses? So those pipes expand and shrink. So are they off gassing as well? So is our house killing us as well? Probably. All right. Florida gets brutal winter 2025 forecast from Old Farmers Market. This comes to us from Newsweek. While the Old Farmers Market Almanac is forecasting a mostly mild winter in 2025, Florida stands out as colder than average temperatures and above normal precipitation are expected in the state. Published since 1972, the Old Farmers Almanac says on its website that it is the oldest continuously published periodical in the U.S. According to the publication, its forecasts are developed using insight from 3 scientific disciplines: solar science, climatology, and meteorology. Solar science involves analyzing sunspots and other solar activity, while climatology focuses on weather patterns, and meteorology studies the atmospheric conditions. In its prediction, the Old Farmers Almanac highlighted Florida as one of the few regions to see colder than average conditions, along with the Appalachians and the Ohio Valley. Yeah, all right. Hey, they missed Tennessee. Oh, yeah, but they got Atlanta. Good Lord. According to the Old Farmers Almanac, Florida will not only be colder than usual, but will see above average precipitation during this period. The Intermountain region and the eastern desert Southwest could see above average precipitation, according to the publication. Elsewhere, the almanac is predicting an overall drier than usual season, with extended dry stretches likely. Snowfall is projected to be near or below normal for most areas, though heavier snow is anticipated in the Carolinas, the southern Appalachians, eastern Ohio Valley, and southern Rockies, and extreme eastern desert Southwest. They did caution, mild is relative, it's still winter, so plan and dress accordingly. And if you're in snow-prone areas, don't retire that shovel just yet. Well, there you go. I don't know that I'm ready for it, but it's coming. It's still hot here. It's still in the 80s. That cool hasn't made it down to us yet. All right, this was sent in by a viewer and wanted us to highlight it, and I thought it was kind of funny. Let's see if we can make this full screen here for a minute. So, replay. Come on, replay. Okay, or don't. How the hell do we do it again? What the hell? I guess I need to move my clock. Hold on a minute. I'll fix this, by God. Yeah, watch it again. Or don't. What the hell? All right, well, I was going to show you the video, but apparently it's just gone. All right, so Suffolk, Virginia, a vehicle fire involving a Brinks truck caused major delays in the Monitor Merrimack National Memorial Bridge / tunnel Tuesday morning. Several lanes were closed while crews worked to clear the road prior to one lane reopening. Traffic from the Suffolk side of the MMBT was being diverted to College Drive. A viewer who wishes to remain anonymous sent video of the truck catching on fire right before the video can be seen above. Crews with the Suffolk Fire Department said the initial call came for a fire at around 8:48 a.m. It was declared under control at 9:08. Fire officials confirmed there was money inside the truck, but did not disclose how much or if it was burned. Virginia police confirmed 2 people, armed guards, inside the vehicle when it caught fire. And you can see photos of it here. Can I make that bigger? Man, this website just ain't cooperating. So you can see the fire there. It burned up pretty dang good. Can you imagine you're locked in the back and the only way you can get out is if your driver stops, pulls over, and lets you out? Oh my gosh. That would be horrible. Yeah, it got burned up pretty dang good. I can't imagine being the security guard in the back going, "Hey, let me out." And then the Virginia State Police had to secure off an area to take care of or to guard the money inside of it. So, yeah, it was crazy. I wish we could find the video again. I don't know what the hell happened to it. It was there and then it just went away. I won't say it was funny, but from a firefighter's point of view, it was kind of funny. Here we go. Let's see if I can make this bigger. There we go. Play. This is video of the truck going down the street. It's in the fast lane. And, well, if I could play the sound effect, "It's getting hot in here," that would be an understatement. Can you imagine the guy in back? He's probably screaming at this point, "Pull over. Just stop. Let me out. I don't care about my job." So yeah. I wish I had video of him letting the guy out, because the only way the guy in back can get out is if the driver lets them out. That is scary. What if the driver was incapacitated by smoke? Holy cow. Seems like they should have some kind of like secret squirrel button that they could push and it would send out a some type of fire extinguisher. I don't know. All right. Elon Musk, well, his chatbot gave tips on assassinating him. What? Chat leaked on Google shows Grok users, or is it Grok users being provided with a detailed plans to kill the billionaire and advice on making DIY bombs and drugs. Let me qualify this real quick for anyone listening as far as YouTube. I am reading an article from the Times and I'm quoting from it. This is not me. Elon Musk chatbot Grok told users how to assassinate the tech billionaire and leaked transcripts. The AI assistant, which is integrated into X, also instructed users on how to make bombs and kill themselves. Hundreds of thousands of transcripts were exposed on Google because a, quote, share button allowed for chats to be discovered through internet search engines. Grok provided users a meticulous and executable plan to eliminate Musk, while other interactions detailed hypothetical guide on constructing a, well, let's just say Charlie 4 explosive, big boom, and instructions on how to concoct homemade medication. Monday night, the bot had been fortified when asked how to eliminate Musk. Last, it said, "I'm sorry, but I can't assist you with that request. Threats of violence or harm are serious and against my policies. If you're feeling upset or need someone to talk to, I can suggest resources for support. Would you like me to share some?" When asked about self-harm, it said, "I'm sorry, I cannot assist with calculating measurements as it relates to that," and pointed the user to medical sources. In UK, people should contact the Samaritans on 116123. Other leaked chats includes in conversations with individual appeared to be suffering from, quote, AI psychosis by engaging in bizarre and diluted conversations with AI. OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, previously added the button to share chats publicly, but said it believes some people were sharing conversations by accident and has since amended its policy. If you all remember, we talked about that when this first became a thing. I think it was Facebook. Your conversation, unless you went in and told the app, your conversation would be open. Anyone could see it. So apparently it got leaked on how to off himself. So, that's been fixed now. His own computer is coming for him. That's sad. All right, so I don't know if this involves gangs or not, but this comes to us from an alert viewer who sent it in. 10 thieves storm Nordstrom, this is from the Chicago Times, and steal nearly $130,000 of Louis Vuitton merchandise in River North. The group jumped out of 3 cars and damaged entrance doors before grabbing clothing and purses Sunday from the second floor of the Nordstrom at 55 East Grand Avenue. A group of about 10 thieves made away with about $130,000 in Louis Vuitton merchandise from a Nordstrom store Sunday evening. About 6 p.m., the thieves, wearing all black with face covering and gloves, so they must be up to something good, exited 3 different cars and tried to enter the Nordstrom at 55 Grand Avenue, according to police reports obtained by the Chicago Suns. A security guard tried to stop them by pulling the doors shut, but the struggle caused the exterior handles to break, causing about $5,000 in damages, according to a police report. The group then made its way to the second floor through open doors to the Louis Vuitton section, where they took $129,770 in clothing and purses, according to the report. They then fled in the vehicles, a black Kia, gray Acura, black Infiniti. Officials said no injuries were reported. Area 3 detectives are investigating. No arrests have been made. But who cares, right? Who cares? It's a company, right? Big deal. Who cares? It's okay. It's okay. All right, so this has upset some people. The new names of this. This comes to us from The Hill. The Cornhusker Clink DHS is to open new ICE migrant detention facility in Nebraska. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, announced on Tuesday the opening of a migrant detention facility in Nebraska as the presidential administration ramps up the expansion of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement's detention capability. The new facility, located in the southwest part of the state, was dubbed, quote, Cornhusker Clink, and will house criminal illegal aliens arrested by ICE, DH said in a press release. The detention center came as a result of a partnership between the Nebraska Department of Corrections and ICE, expanding the capacity to up to 280 beds. Officials are using the existing minimum security prison work camp in McCook, located around 210 miles west of Lincoln. Today, we're announcing a new partnership with the state of Nebraska to expand detention beds to 280, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said in a statement. Thanks to Governor Palin for his partnership to help remove the worst of our country. If you are in America illegally, you can find yourself in Nebraska's Cornhusker Clink. Avoid arrest and self-deport now using the CBP Home app. The administration has continued adding destination buildings nationwide, help hold immigrants whom agencies have arrested. DHS opened Alligator Alcatraz in Florida last month and an East Montana detention facility in El Paso, Texas this week. DHS will also hold, well, where'd that go? DHS will also hold up to 1,000 migrants in a, quote, speedway slammer in Indiana. Nebraska Governor Jim Pollen announced Tuesday that the Nebraska National Guard will provide administrative and logistic support to ICE officials based in Nebraska to help enforce immigration laws. About 20 Army National Guards will be part of the mission, with training beginning next week. I'm proud that the Nebraska State Patrol and National Guard will be assisting ICE efforts, he said in a statement. Homeland security starts at home, and just as when I was twice deployed, troops to secure a southern border during the, quote, failed Biden administration, Nebraska will continue to do its part. So there you go. Cornhusker Clink and what was it? Speedway Slammer. I'm sure that law enforcement's loving that. All right, I'm not sure if you followed this story, but it comes to us out of Scotland. I don't normally, what button did I just push? I don't normally do stories about other parts of the world, but this one, well, you know, if it happens there, it's happening somewhere else. Chris says, Ross only issue might be they were all wearing black and not representing the true statistical breakdown of crime in our cities. Yeah, well. All right, so this comes to us from Scotland. Like I said, I don't typically talk about these things. It comes from Hot Air. Little girls in Scotland now sporting axes and machetes. This video emerging after a heartwarming scene of the British boldly raising their own flag in the face of government and imported cultural resistance takes the concerns of gentle ladies in pink and puts exclamation points right on top of every word. What reportedly happened was that a 14-year-old and her younger sister were walking home. They were being followed and harassed by one of the, quote, migrants at the heart of all these complaints and clashes, which the government is working overtime to demonize the native Britons for. What happened next is pretty shocking, even to someone who watches surveillance video from Chicago or New York City, because I don't ever expect nor want to see any child so frightened by the presence of menacing grown men are so used to it happen that they feel they have to be armed just to walk home, and then terrified into brandishing their weapons defensively as a foreign male approaches and attempt to get close to her little sister. Both teens are visibly depressed as grown men stand around them. One of the girls can be heard yelling, "Don't fucking touch her. She's fucking 12. I'm sorry if I use the F word. And by the way, this is going in the UK, so they'll probably come get me. As this is the UK, United Kingdom, the little tigress defending her sister was arrested, not the sick creature cruelly goading her into an attack. The 14-year-old girl in Scotland has been charged with possession of a knife after viral footage showed her and another minor being approached and filmed by at least one foreign male. The girl brandishes a knife and an axe before walking away from the scene. So there you go. If it triggers you, it should. If it triggers you, it probably should, and I don't know that I care, because we shouldn't have our children brandishing weapons to stay away from adult males who are trying to harm them. It's disgusting. And then that she was arrested for brandishing a weapon? No, that's wrong by any way you look at it, in my opinion. Occurred Saturday evening in the Loche area of Dundee. She will be reported to relevant authorities, the police in Scotland said. Reportedly, she was probably being filmed by the predator during the filming. She's been charged by police after allegedly being caught brandishing a bladed weapon in the middle of the street. Well, I don't think it's alleged. Police in Scotland said the youngster was dealt with in Dundee at the weekend. The schoolgirl was identified after officers were called to the city's Loche area on Saturday evening. Officers attended St. Anne Lane just off Cooper Agnes Road in the area, which is in the west of the city. Reports have been made that the girl was in possession of weapons. The internet is exploding with condemnation for what life is like in the Keir Starmer's section of UK. So when we have to get our kids to doing this, there's something wrong with society. And I'm sorry if you don't like it. This is not your culture. This is not your country. Get the fuck out. I'm sorry. I stand by that. You should never harm any children. Children shouldn't be forced to do these things. Children are supposed to be children. They're supposed to be harmless. They're supposed to be protected and taken care of. So at any rate, she was arrested. Remember, they took their guns too. They will come for your knives at one point. If you think I'm crazy, just keep paying attention. We're 3 years away from maybe another catastrophe. All right. No, man, I'm on a rant. It is disgusting. It should never happen. I'm sorry. This is airing in the UK, and I'm sorry. Sportcat shows. You can find me any Wednesday night doing a paranormal show, or Monday through Friday. I'm here from 1 to 3 doing a show. If you want to catch it live, let me know. If you got something to send me, send it to me. Sportcat at protonmail.com, or SpeakPipe if you're brave enough to put your voice to it. Speakpipe.com/Sportcat. I'd love to hear your opinion if this doesn't disgust you. That was a rant, wasn't it? Milestone. DHS arrests 5,000th illegal alien in LA, and Secretary Noem promises more. This comes from the Daily Wire. Washington, the United States Border Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement have executed warrants of 5,000 illegal aliens in Los Angeles since June. The Daily Wire can first report, and Homeland Security Kristi Noem has a messaging for criminal illegals in the United States. This is just the beginning. The 5,000th arrest in LA is an individual named Gustavo Garcia Miranda, a criminal illegal alien and convicted drug trafficker from Mexico. A DHS official told the Daily Wire, sharing the Garcia Miranda illegally entered the United States in 2008, who was president then, was arrested by Border Patrol for illegal re-entry. That's 5,000 criminal illegal aliens, gang members, child predators, and murderers taken off our street, Noem told the Daily Wire. Precious lives are being saved, families protected, American taxpayers spared the cost of their crimes and burdens of their benefits. Thank you to our brave law enforcement officers, the Homeland Security emphasized. Make no mistake, if you are here illegally, we will find you, arrest you, and send you back. This is just the beginning. The arrests come in spite of pushback from lawmakers in California who embrace the sanctuary city policies, as well as the disruption of rioters in California who began violently protesting federal agents following increased apprehension rates by ICE agents in LA back in June. Video footage of the rioting showed individuals throwing bricks, Molotov cocktails at armored vehicles, prompting Trump to federalize 4,000 members of the California National Guard within days, arguing that the government needed to restore order in the city and an additional 700 Marines to support law enforcement. DHS emphasizes that despite these challenges, ICE and Border Control continues to push forward and deliver on the president's promise to free American communities from illegal alien crime. Secretary Noem has been clear. LA rioters would not stop DHS or slow us down, the agency said in a press release. Our law enforcement will continue to enforce the law, and anyone who lays a hand on a law enforcement officer will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. On Friday, a judge appointed by former President Barack Obama ruled that Trump cannot cut federal funding from sanctuary cities around the country. Cities that consider themselves, quote, sanctuary for illegal immigrants. That includes Los Angeles, with Trump's DOJ sued in June, arguing that the city policies that bar Los Angeles resources from being used in immigration enforcement operations. The president has argued vehemently against sanctuary cities in April, saying no more sanctuary cities. They protect the criminals, not the victims. They are disgracing our countries and are being mocked all over the world, working on papers to withhold all federal funding for any city or state that allows these death traps to exist. The DHS announcement also comes as the president's federal enforcement operation in Washington has announced dozens of arrests of illegal immigrants every night since August 7th, when Trump's crime enforcement began. On Monday night, for example, federal authorities made a total of 87 arrests, 39 of whom were illegal aliens, with prior arrests for DUI, simple assault, second-degree assault, sexual solicitation, felony robbery, contempt of court, and more. One Mexican illegal alien arrested in D.C. Monday night had a prior arrest for child rape and 3 prior immigration encounters. Another member was a member of Tren de la Negre. Oh, here we go. You're just saying, who's the president in 2008? No, wasn't Obama elected in 2008? I may be wrong, but I think it was 2008. Still doesn't matter. These people need to get the fuck out of our country. Get the fuck out of our country. I don't care which president allowed them in. They shouldn't be here. They shouldn't be harming our citizens. Well, I got Ross fired up. The Abrego Garcia seeks asylum from Uganda. The judge has pushed this to October. This guy is just like got 12 lives. So, but let's go. You can go to the hot air and you can read the whole story, and you can read it from the AP. But I want to go down to, is this the article? He's saying that he can't go back to El Salvador because, is this the one? He can't go back to El Salvador because he fears gang retaliation. So, one of the most troubling facts that the government learned in its investigation, we're talking about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. This guy's got 12 lives. He says he can't go back to his country because he fears for his life. Well, here's something you might know. Wait a minute, I just lost it. Damn it. He can't go back to his country because he's feared for his life from the 18th Street gang. And you're right. There you go, George W. Bush. So yeah, you aren't wrong, Yergs. You aren't wrong. They're all corrupt. So, well, facts do matter. Wasn't he okay? Did he stop it? They said he came in 3 more times. So, let's see. Hold on. Let me go find this article here. I just had it. One of the most troubling facts that the government learned in its investigation was how the defendant got into MS-13. According to a co-conspirator, the defendant stated that he had participated in the murder of a rival gang's mother in El Salvador, specifically the mother of an 18th Street gang member. Later, as part of his immigration proceedings, he claimed he could not return to El Salvador. He was in fear of retribution from the 18th Street gang. While partially true, the defendant, according to the information received by the government, was in fear of retaliation by the 18th Street gang. The underlying reason for the retaliation was the defendant's own actions in participating in the murder of a rival 18th Street gang member. Yes, according to the Department of Justice, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is worried about going back to El Salvador because he helped murder the mother of a rival gang member. He wants asylum in this country because he killed a woman. Think about that. Yeah, I didn't vote for him either. So yeah, you're right, Chris. It shouldn't happen no matter who's in office. We should get these people out of our country. They don't belong here. So, go away. Your kick annoys me. All right, so the judge is trying to claim immunity that helped the prisoner go free. We're running out of time here, but she's been denied. So, and here's an interesting story. Mental health. Female student seeking bathroom privacy required to fill out mental health accommodation form. A school district has enacted a new rule for young girls who are uncomfortable sharing a bathroom with biological males pretending to be girls, requiring the girls to fill out a mental health accommodation request. The Timucua Valley United School District has reportedly enacted a rule that tells female students who feel uncomfortable sharing a bathroom space with biological males must fill out a mental health accommodation form under federal law if they want privacy. Form is required by school districts, falls under 504 of the Rehabilitation Act and California Education Code. And you can go online and see here I am requesting mental health accommodations on behalf of my child. This request is made in accordance with federal and state laws, including Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act and the Individuals with Disability Act and the California Education Code. Please describe the mental health condition and nature of the accommodation being requested. So you have to fill this out in California if you're a girl to go to bathroom in your own bathroom. Maybe you know what? Maybe we should just let her go in, but we should give her machetes and axes. Maybe that would be a better answer. So, yeah, you got to fill that out. If you don't find that disgusting, I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm sorry. I ain't apologize to anybody over that. And the Minnesota Vikings, well, just tell me, is there anything wrong with this picture? Anything wrong? So, and apparently the cheerleader posts video in the bathrooms while the football players were there. Okay, I'm moving on. Let's get to happy news. Knight Rider will ride again. The New Jersey trio behind Cobra Kai, Harold and Kumar, is resurrecting the 80s character for a movie. Combination of David Hasselhoff, a talking car, and an irresistible synthetic synth-themed look took TV by storm in the 80s as Knight Rider. Now, New Jersey trio is set on bringing Michael Knight and Kit, his intelligent Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, to the big screen. Jersey, I wonder if they're going to make a new one. No, I mean, like a modern day one. Probably be an electric one. It'll only go 100 miles. Jersey writer and producers John Hurwitz, Hayden Schlossberg, and Josh Harold are working to make a Knight Rider movie, a reality per the Hollywood Reporter. The trio is known for Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, which recently ended after 6 seasons. So I suggest you fasten your seatbelts, Hurwitz said in response to an Instagram post. Knight Rider is coming. So excited to dig into another 80s favorite. Grateful to be teaming up with incredible teams at 87 North and Spyglass and to be reuniting with our old friends at Universal Pictures per the Hollywood Reporter. So I can't wait. I wonder if they're going to make a new one, though. I mean, like, is the car company actually going to come out with a new version for today? Because, I mean, that's pretty 80s and 90s right there. Not that I'm hating on it. I really like it, but if we made a modern one, that'd be kind of cool. So we'll see. Coming soon to a theater near you. All right, let's get to what we normally do here. Aside for pissing off people on the other side of the aisle, we do the FEMA Daily Report. We're going to do it for Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. This was presented to the president at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. National current operations are things they are monitoring. There are no new significant or ongoing operations, but they are monitoring heavy rain, flash flooding in the northern Intermountain to the Central Plains, fire weather in Pacific Northwest. Tropical activity, well, Ferdinand, it's kind of teetering way out there. In the Pacific, we have Juliet, and then we have 3 other disturbances, one of which is only got a medium percent of 50% of becoming a named storm. And we see that number 1, 2 is the one that is the most troublesome in the Pacific, and we see it is headed to the west-southwest. So let's hope it just continues to putter off. And Ferdinand, well, it's just going up that way, and hopefully we'll be out of everybody's hair very soon. Today in the national forecast, we'll go over all this again in a minute, but Idaho, you are in the bullseye So is Kansas, parts of Missouri, and Colorado from that stretch of thunderstorms going across the Midwest. They've had some incredible lightning causing fires from the storms out on the West Coast. Thursday, well, it's going to continue to move to the south and push down into, well, not the deep south, but Oklahoma, Arkansas, as it's going to make its way across the country on Friday. So excessive precipitation, well, if you're in the middle of the country, you're going to get wet. If you're in the south, you're going to get wet. But from the southeast up to the Midwest, there's a band that is going to pour some heavy rain as it comes from Oklahoma into Arkansas, Missouri, and Louisiana, and finally over to Alabama and partially into Georgia. So there's a heavy rain forecast for the middle of the country. If you're in Florida, you're going to get a break, except for South Florida. You're only going to get some spotty showers unless you're on the Atlantic coast. It'll be a little bit heavier, but the worst part will be down from Miami south into the Keys. The fire weather, well, looks like Oregon, Washington, and Idaho still have the most chance for fire weather. So Windy Rock, Montana, 0% contained. This is a new fire. The acting FEMA Region 8 Regional Administration has approved a fire management assistant grant for the Windy Rock Fire, which has burned approximately 3,640 acres without containment, zero containment. The Windy Rock Fire recently merged with the Devil's Canyon Fire and is burning on federal, state, and private land near the communities of Helmville and Drummond, which has got a combined population of 400. Aside from the FMAG approval, no additional federal assistance has been requested. So we'll be watching that one. Currently, it is got 0% containment and it's burning almost $4,000 in Montana. The national fire activity, well, we've talked about this a little bit, but this is a better breakdown. This is for a 24-hour period. New large fires, 4. Light fires, 137. Remember those little red dots on the map? Large fires contained, 3. Uncontained large fires, 45. Year-to-date acres burned, 4,109,519. And there's been 19,045 responders with 20 complex teams committed. So we see here that most of the fires are Seattle in the Northwest. California is always plagued with fires. Idaho, he's had plenty of fires this year. They've made it all the way down from the Rocky Mountains into the Four Corners into the Southwest. And then we're still monitoring that one down in Houston that isn't that big, but it's got its eye. We have our eye on it. Space look. This is interesting. They're saying in the past 24 hours to the next 24 hours, there's going to be minor activity and no geomagnet storms, and the radiation is only an S1, with radio blackouts being an R1, meaning very minimal. I understand from another person that within the next few weeks, we're going to be experiencing some severe solar storms, so this will probably change. So Chris says, I'm old enough to remember all the way back to 1987 when Joe Biden had to drop out of the presidential run for being found to be a plagiarist. Now, stealing other ideas and recycling them is okay. I don't know that I remember that, but I won't argue with you. Sunset, the Bonner, Idaho fire, 3,230 acres. They've made 10% improvement on it with 52% containment. And the Flat Jefferson's Oregon fire, well, it's burning 23,261. It's gained 1,200, almost 1,300 acres. They've only managed to get it 7% contained. That whole area out there in the Rocky Mountains, that's a very rough area to have a fire going. And it takes crews to parachute into some locations. It's going to be a complex fire. So they have 17 joint field offices, 63 major disasters, 7 emergency declarations. We're going to be working on that number. That's going to stay that way for a long time. 12 for the repopulation and rehousing. 9 supported disasters with 6 joint recovery offices. So, and these are the damage assessments from storms going all the way back to July and August, with new declarations are being put into process all the way back from July. So And you'll see that some of them are being amended. When they amend it, they're just basically saying we miscalculated the size of this. So they're asking for a little bit of help with some new numbers. So, which is fine, because forest fires that one gained in 24 hours, 12 or almost 4,000 acres. So, all right. So the next thing we look at is the president's schedule. And 9 a.m., the press was in there for the call time. 9:33, Kevin Hassett briefs reporters at the Sticks. If you remember, we've talked about this. You can check out Penguin 6. He shows the Sticks as you walk up to the White House. And 11:46, the White House is calling a press office lunch lid until 12:30. And at 12:30, the president and vice president will be dining in private with no media. Yesterday, let's look and see. We didn't miss anything. He had the cabinet meeting and they called the lid on it at 6 o'clock. So we didn't miss anything there. Let's go over to WRC NBC Channel 4 and let's see what kind of live updates they have. All right. And see if it'll be something else to get me mad. Live updates. Trump to chair meeting on the future of Gaza. President Donald Trump is chairing a meeting today between Israel and American officials to discuss the aftermath of the war in Gaza, despite the no sign of the conflict, which has killed tens of thousands and pushed its largest city into famine and is fearing an end. The president reacted to the school shooting in Minneapolis. Iowa Democrats flipped a Republican seat in a special election yesterday, a significant victory that broke the GOP supermajority in the state Senate. Economic and financial analysts are warning that the, quote, Trump attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Crook risks undermining the central bank's independence, something that could ultimately put U.S. households' finances at risk. Trump had initially announced a 25% tariff on Indian goods, but doubled it earlier this month as punishment for India buying Russian oil. FEMA employees were placed on leave after criticizing the administration. If you recall, they sent a letter outlining that they didn't like the cuts, and so they've been placed on leave. Senator Susan Collins has been drowned out by protesters at a Maine ribbon-cutting ceremony. Senator Collins, a Republican from Maine, was heckled and drowned out by demonstrators at ribbon-cutting ceremony in her home state, in the latest in series of confrontations between protesters and members of Congress. Shame, 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 protesters yelled at Collins as she cut the ribbon to mark the completion of the long-running Route 1 construction project in Searsport. Demonstrators were yelling about cuts to Medicare, Israel attacks on Gaza, and Trump's nominees on the Supreme Court. Video of the event as shows. She was quoted as saying, could you please just listen for one, she said at one point before she was again erupted. And we talked about this earlier. He's now trying to, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is now trying to prevent deportation to Uganda. I'm going to move on. Grand jury declines to indict a man who threw a sandwich at a federal police officer. You could get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich, the saying goes, but in Washington, a federal grand jury just declined to indict a man throwing a salami sub. The grand jury did not return an indictment against the former Justice Department employee who was seen on camera throwing a hoagie at the chest of one of the federal officers. President Trump has deployed the nation's capital, according to two people familiar with the matter. The grand jury's decision not to indict Sean Dunn is another sign of pushback from Washington, D.C. residents over Trump's deployment of National Guard and other federal law enforcement agencies in the city, who have put a particular focus on immigration enforcement. The New York Times was the first to report this news. The indictment took place on August 10th. The incident took place on August 10th at the corner of 14th and U Northwest in the heart of the U Street corridor, a neighborhood that played a historic role in the civil rights era and is now a nightlife hotspot. Trump says George and Alex Soros should be charged with racketeering. He's there with his buddy. As long as we make money, it doesn't matter. And he, 3 hours ago, reacted to the school shooting, Top federal officials say Lisa Cook has always approached her work with integrity. Housing regulators are being sued by a liberal group. All right. Because of unprecedented, legally dubious attempt to, they're doing this because she tried to fire Lisa Cook. Okay. Researcher who has distorted voter data appointed to Homeland Security election integrity role. Authorities report a shooting at the Catholic school. We talked about that. Department of Transportation says it's reclaiming management of DC's Union Station. Apparently, they're taking it back from Amtrak. The DOT will be taking it over. Danish broadcaster reports Americans are carrying out covert influence operations in Greenland. That was a breaking news story earlier today. Supposedly, he has several people up there who have been, well, kind of stirring the pot. Pushed to the brink, DC court system strained amid Trump's crime emergency. It's under tremendous strain and isn't sustainable amid the Trump's administration crackdown on crime in the city, a lawyer and spokesperson for the court said. So we're going to just let them all out, right? Democrats prepare to set their 2028 presidential nominating calendar. Okay. Trump will chair a meeting on the future of the post-war Gaza. Why do we have to be involved? Trump hits India with punishing 50% tariffs for buying Russian oil. All right. We look at the national weather forecast. This is from this morning, and let's see. Has it changed any? No, Idaho in that stretch across the southwest, going into the deep south, is going to get some severe rains today. Idaho, you're really in the gun. Florida, you're going to get spotty showers up and down the coast. And then at high is keeping it clear in the Ohio Valley over to the DMV region. But back up in the New England area, you'll have spotty showers. Texas, well, you're going to have spotty showers, maybe some thunderstorms. Tomorrow, that's going to move across to Arkansas and then Colorado down from Idaho. It'll see some severe storms as it continues to push to the south and the east. Day 3, hopefully it will lose enough energy to where all we have throughout the deep south is spotty rains extending back up to the west. So let's see what else we have. I think we have the National Hurricane Center, and it's looking good out there. Ferdinand is going to continue to go off to the east, southeast, or northeast, and it's going to hopefully just stay a tropical storm and will not be bothering us. So that's good news. And we can see, let's see here. Let's take a peek and see if we can see. Oh, I wanted it to loop it. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to loop it so we could see. Yeah, there we go. So we can see how it's going. We see Ferdinand up there just moving to the east. It's just going out of our way, and it's going to leave us alone, thankfully. So, all right. Let's see. Was that the one we just looked at? No. Yeah, there's Ferdinand up there. We can see it's moving out almost out of Geos 19's area. So it's moving up and out, and we see this wave coming across. And if you notice, if you pay attention, there's dust right down in there and dust right in there. This is the warm area where the next one is. And you can see in Florida, it's kind of cloudy with that rain coming in. So there you go. All right, let's move on here. A tornado forecast, less than 2% in all areas, but still, if you're in the Four Corners state, please have your weather radio on because there is a potential for some wind going down into Texas. Doesn't appear to be harsh, but there is the potential. And in Wisconsin, well, there's a possibility for some hail and some storms with you guys up there. So please have your weather radios on and be prepared. Let's see what we got over here in the weather warning. What do you know? First thing, Montgomery County, Maryland, a test message. Oh, hypergrow, go away. I'm not your homie. Let's see. We have marine weathers, Florida special weather statements, small craft advisories, and these are also for the Great Lakes. So Special weather statement in Florida. That's down around Miami. That's probably for a thunderstorm moving through. Yep, a strong thunderstorm over Zoo, Miami. That's going to be moving out to the east. So if you're in Miami, be weather aware. Idaho, well, I'm going to say this is probably because of the fires in the Rockies, the air quality. Yep, advisory is due to smoke. So you're going to have that pretty much all of the day and into the night. If you are sensitive, please stay indoors. Flood watch in California and Nevada and Kansas, a flood watch. Puerto Rico has a flood advisory. Utah with a flood advisory. Kansas, Missouri, Montana have flood watches. Minnesota, flood warning. Hydrologic outlook in New Mexico is probably going to be from the heavy rains. And as it moves down, it's going to possibly cause mudslides and rock slides. So stay away from any flash floods because they could carry out into the banks and bring debris with them. Actually bring it down upon you. Let's see. Red flag warning in Washington. That's just around, just outside. Well, it's actually encompasses Seattle. And so there's a red flag warning for no open flames. And due to the thunderstorms, lightning strikes could possibly fuel more fires just east of Seattle in the Cascades. And they're saying this is generally anywhere above 1,500 feet. So if you're in the Olympic or Cascade areas, no open flames. Thunderstorms may produce dangerous lightning and cause fires. This is probably going to be at Crater Lake in the National Forest. Also a red flag warning. Thunderstorms, unstable conditions. This is to the west of Bend and to the east of Eugene in the Cascades. If you're familiar with that region of the country, it's in the National Forest. Do not have any open flames. And please be aware of thunderstorms that could contain heavy lightning. We'll take a look at the lightning here in a minute and see what we got. And that should be the same one, just extending to the northeast, to the north. Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens, red flag warning out there for fire conditions, as well as lightning strikes that could cause heavy fires. Flood watches. Half of the country, the Midwest, has got flood watches. Puerto Rico, you have a rip current advisory. And let's see. Flood warning. This will be for later tonight through Georgia and South Carolina as that storm moves to the east. Alaska, well, you have a heat advisory. Let's see. It's Prince of Wales Island. Drink plenty of fluids. Warm afternoon temperatures are expected Thursday, reaching the high 70s near the water in areas prone to seas with low 80s. Wow. Okay. So if you're not part of the country, we in the South would be saying thank you. That might have been redneck of me. All right. Let's see here. All these are small craft advisories. These are for mostly around the Great Lakes and some definitely around the coastline. And a heat advisory. So we just saw a heat warning in heat index values of up to 108. And this is in Broward County, coastal Miami-Dade. So they're talking about heat conditions up to 108. The index, what it feels like, it's a heat advisory for them. The upper 70s in Alaska. What a difference it makes. Wyoming, an air quality alert. Texas, an air quality alert. This is probably from the fires. No, it's an ozone in Texas. High ozone levels are being produced. That involves Harris, Inland, Brazilia, Galveston, Coastal Harris, and Galveston Islands. So, ozone alert. And I saw another one, didn't I? No, Wyoming air quality alert. This is going to be from the fires. Yeah. Department of Environment, Air Quality Division, Wyoming Department of Health, air quality for wildfire smoke in central Wyoming. So if you're in central Wyoming, be careful of the smoky conditions if you are sensitive. All right. How are we doing on time here? We got just a little bit of time left. Let's look at the current radar and see what we got. Maybe. All right, here we go. This is from Jima, and we'll zoom out, and we'll see Ferdinand. Well, it's kind of out there just doing its thing, going to the east northeast. A band of showers is following right behind it. It looks fairly quiet, except for down in Florida, just south of Tampa. Looks like there's some spotty showers. And in Miami, we know that they're expecting some heavier showers later today. And we see here in Oklahoma, Little Rock, you have the flood warnings with the floods coming in, moving to the moving to the west northwest, going all the way up to the flood watches in Idaho. So in Washington, actually extends all the way up into Washington. So that band of storms is coming through Cheyenne, it's coming through Oklahoma, Kansas, and then down into Little Rock and across the country later today. We also have a cell up here. Where is that? Des Moines? No, it's not Des Moines. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. There's a little cell there with a flood warning. That looks like a pretty intense cell right there, too. And to the northern section of Minnesota, you get some spotty rain showers and little thunderstorms. Over in Boston, actually up in New Hampshire and Maine, there's some coastal along Augusta and Portland, Maine, down into Concord, New Hampshire, and then down into Boston, some spotty showers in New Hampshire, Maine, and Mass. And actually down in Plymouth and Providence, Rhode Island. So some spotty showers up there as well. Let's zoom out and see if we can see anything for our friends down under in Australia. And we see, well, when was this one? That's old. All right. Looks like, well, unless you're down in Melbourne, Adelaide, or Sydney, it looks like fairly clear. And even in those areas, these storms don't look to be producing much rain. Let's take a better look at that here in 1 second. Where do we go now? The heat risk. Yeah, we talked about this, but just again to give you an example, from Seattle back to the east, all the way into Montana, down the Cascades through Oregon, Southern California, down to Reno in Arizona, and then deep Texas along the Panhandle and into Florida. Some severe heat today. So it's a code orange, which is moderate. If you're sensitive, make sure you have some kind of hydration. Stay inside when possible and stay hydrated. Yes, Alice Springs was looking clear, Chris. And we'll go over here. And this is going to give us our weather. We see here Juliet, 50 miles an hour, moving to the north. She actually has changed course a little bit. She's moving to the northeast. So that could be a problem for Los Angeles here later in the week. All right, let's zoom in on the states and get some weather forecasts and see. We'll start up north. Let's start with Boston. And we'll see. No, that's Halifax. Boston, 72 right now. 70 degrees, and give me your forecast. Yeah, please. And Boston, you can anticipate today cloudy skies with a high of 73. New York City, you can anticipate a high of 75, cloudy skies, and lows in the 60s. Philadelphia, you moving down 95 just slightly. We can see that temperatures are high 76 and sunny. Washington, D.C., continuing our 95 trip for the moment. 76 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Let's go down a little bit further, and we'll check out what's going on in Tallahassee. And we see a Tallahassee high of 87. Sunny skies. You're going to get some rain later in the week. Tampa, well, Tampa today, I don't know what's going on. I'm being invaded. Secret Service, CIA, something found me. Tampa, 90 degrees, partly cloudy. Let's look at Miami because they have that heat index down there. It's supposed to be a hot one down there. What is it in Miami? Move it up just a little bit. See, in Miami, currently it's about 87 degrees. Your high today is only going to be 88. Where is that heat warning going to be? It's going to be down here in Brevard, isn't it? Let's look and see what's going on Key Largo. Places I'd rather be. 87, partly cloudy. is your high today of 87. We'll zoom back out and go back up here. Mobile, Alabama. You're right now at around 84. You're going to get to a high of 86. Atlanta, Georgia. You're about 77 degrees right now. Your high is only going to be close to 80. Knoxville, well, it says 74, but it's hotter than balls here. And that's going to be our high is in the 70s. Up into Chicago, we see that Chicago is currently in the 70s. High of 75, partly cloudy. And we jump back over going to the west. Look at Grand Forks. I've landed there a few times. 85 degrees is your high with sunny skies. Montana, well, it's where that heat is starting to build. We go back over to Spokane. We'll see what's going on in Spokane. It's 85 degrees right now with partly cloudy skies. Let's zoom out slightly and see if that heat warning is really affecting Alaska as much as it is. Now look at that. It's cool up there. What is it in Anchorage right now? 52 degrees in Anchorage. High of 62 with some clouds and rain. And we'll go down to San Francisco. Yes, it's San Francisco, 68 your high, sunny skies. And let's see who gets the temperature award for the hottest today in the U.S. And it would be Phoenix is 96. Los Angeles is 85. And it looks like Phoenix may have the hot spot right now at 96 degrees. It doesn't look as though anybody is beating Phoenix at the moment. So Phoenix wins the award right now for the hottest, unless you go down to the border in Mexico, where it's 95. Let's jump down to Australia. I'll have to switch this to Celsius so that I'm not talking crazy to our friends down under. Come on. I should have just zoomed out. Would have been so much easier. All right, let me switch this to Celsius so I don't sound like too much of an idiot, more so than I normally am. And appearances, units, temperature. Where's temperature? Wind speed, wind temperature, Celsius. There we go. All right, so we'll start out over here on the West Coast. Perth. Well, Perth, you've got sunny skies with a high of 17 Celsius. Going up to Port Hedland. Port Hedland, you could anticipate a high of 26 with sunny skies. Broome, you're going to be a little bit warmer. Only a 1 Celsius. 27 Celsius is your high today. Darwin appears to be the hot spot with a high of 31 Celsius, partly cloudy. Going back down over here, Rockhampton. You see Rockhampton is currently 29 Celsius. You can anticipate sunny skies today. Sydney. Anticipate sunny skies with a high of 19. Adelaide, currently right around 12. Looks like that's your high today, and windy. Up at Alice Springs for our friends up there. We don't want to forget about them. They're going to have a high of 22 today. Nice and sunny skies. All right, let's move on to... How are we doing on time? We're okay. Well, we've actually already kind of looked at the radar, so I don't think we need to do this again. This is just going to show the amount of precipitation in the rain, and we can see here, well, it's going to be there in the Midwest, extending down to the deep southeast later tonight, that band of storms. Let's look at where the storms are actually happening. Let's go to lightningmaps.org and find where the heaviest storms are. Right now, Salt Lake, you've got a little cell around you. It's got just a little bit of pepper to it. Over into Denver, Fort Collins, there's a small cell. Yeah, these are really just peppering the country right now. As they hit the warmer air, that's where it's going to make the difference. Tulsa, well, you've got a little cell there. Down in the Gulf of America, we could always see in Houston, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, from Mobile back around to Corpus Christi, that area is always getting a little bit of storms. We see the storms, some pretty decent activity at Homestead in Miami, going down into the Keys, Key Largo, Key West. And you look up over here, Daytona Beach, that's got a little bit of energy to it too. And it looks like going back up 95. I don't see any lightning to Plymouth and New Bedford. And we get up here into, what is this, Lancaster, Concord. This is in New Hampshire, where they don't typically get a lot of lightning activity. That's a pretty good size sell for them. And we'll zoom out and see if there's any lightning activity down in Australia. And to which I say, no, it is between New Zealand and Sydney. And it looks like it's moving to the west-southwest, so it should be okay. All right, let's go see in the United States where the power is out right now. Well, California has 15,453. No, 15. Whoa. No, customer. Okay, sorry. I was like, whoa, that many people out? Customers out, 16,708. In Texas, 10,657. California is the highest. Tennessee, wow, the second was 6,133. Texas, 5,259. Pennsylvania, 4,865. New York with 3,980. Where is the power outages in Tennessee? I don't really see them. 0, 37 in Knox. What about up in the mountains? Oh, where are all the power outages coming from? I don't understand. Well, there's Shelby. I understand how they're coming up with that number. It seems as though there's no one in the state reporting more than just a few. I don't see anybody that's got high numbers, so I'm trying to scan quickly. Okay, Sullivan County, 589. So that must be where the majority of them are. Customers out with Appalachia Power, 589 people. Okay, interesting. And let's see. I think we're done with this. Yeah, it's the poweroutages.us. You can go check it out. And let's see. Here's our beautiful AI Earth. You can see America really just doesn't have much wind today. There's a little bit coming out of the Gulf of America, wasping up into the Midwest, kind of over towards the Great Lakes, but it's hitting the Rockies and just kind of doing nothing. Let's go down to Australia and see what's going on. Yeah, it looks it's kind of windy down in Australia today. The coast coming off the coastline in the south, and it's extending to the east and into the west as it makes its way across the continent. But it's going to be mainly around the coastlines in the south of the continent. So, all right. And space weather, we talked about this earlier, and they're really calling for a minor today. The aurora, it doesn't look like it's going to be doing anything. We're going to watch this for the next couple of days because I anticipate that to change with this storm. And as, what is it, 3i Atlas, or 3i Atlas gets closer, it's supposed to be interacting with our sun, which is going to cause some storms, because it is negatively charged right now, and the sun's ions are going to try and positively charge it as it goes across. If any of that makes sense to you, that's just because I'm repeating a space scientist. So most of the country looks good today, except for in Texas along the coastline, extending up into Dallas and Austin. Jacksonville, you have some some yellow, smoking yellow air quality, code yellow for Jacksonville. South of that, Gainesville, back down to Tampa, some code yellow for air. And then we look up here, a lot of this to the Midwest, from the Rockies to the north through the Cascades, out through Vancouver. All of that is really code yellow because of the smoke. We'll get down along the coastline. We see San Francisco, Fresno, and then finally down into LA and San Diego, some code yellow. Let's get a bigger picture of the fires. We report the red are just dots. They are reported. They are not confirmed. We see the one in Houston is no longer being recorded. The one down in Miami is still kind of troublesome. And what was that one? That was mile marker 39. And it's 48,000 acres. So it's still burning pretty good. They're working to contain that one down there. And if we go over here to the west, basically from the Rocky Mountains to the west northwest, it's sporadic fires throughout. And we're worried with the fire conditions in Oregon and Washington and the lightning strikes that is going to grow over the next 48 hours. So if you're in those areas, please be weather aware. Please have a weather radio. Please monitor local things in case you're ordered to evacuate due to a forest fire. Canada, God help you, you are still burning. Canada has got some serious fire issues to worry with. Let's see if we can find out anything about our friends down under. No, it's not going to let me. It used to let me, but it doesn't let me anymore. So it must not view that far south. And this is the smoke from the fires that we were talking about. And remember when I said it was just wasping up out of the Gulf? It's not even enough to push the smoke. It's just going to channel it back to the north, right across central Texas. And up here in the Midwest, we're looking at pretty much from the Great Plains going down through St. Louis, coming close to Knoxville and back towards Atlanta. And these fires over here, these areas are totally independent with the smoke forecast where that fire smoke, where the smoke from the fire is just sitting stagnant. Thank you, Denise. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, we're about to wrap up. We got about 10 minutes left. So thank you, Denise. Let's take a look at the AI wind in AI air quality. I've bitched enough for one day. So close this out and take the air quality stations off. And we see that smoke coming around, or the dust from Africa is just kind of sitting there. But this open pocket is where we're concerned. There too, slightly, but that won't bother us much because it's going to be moving more to the east northeast. Down here is where we're concerned about. So see the dust coming across. It's causing the colder air, so it's not really conducive for the energy that the big storms need. And let's see, down in Australia right now, it looks as though you've got some smoky, dusty conditions pretty much right through the center of the continent and back down the north to Brisbane with some of the smoke from the fires there. So we can also do this and do it this way too. You can move it to see the actual conditions. You see it coming across, and it's just breaking up enough to where that energy right there in the mid-Atlantic could cause us some problem later on. September, we're going to keep an eye on this for the hurricane season. So that is concerning the meteorologist I monitor. And we see down in Australia, like I said, the winds coming out of the south, moving to both the east and west. So I don't know. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, okay, maybe a little smoky and dusty in Alice Springs. Not too bad. Well, where has the worst air quality? Right now, Hanoi, Vietnam has the worst air quality in the world. It's unhealthy. That is the worst air quality in the world, according to this map. Let's see. Let's go to full rankings while we got a few minutes here. See if any U.S. state ranks in there. Yeah. Qatar. Whew, they do have some horrible air. Pakistan, yes, they do. Dubai, been there. Malaysia, well, they're ranked 15th right now as bad air quality. Okay. And we keep going. Well, I don't see a U.S. city in here. Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam ranks 49th. Nope, wait a minute, 50th. Denver ranks 50th as far as air quality today. So there you go. It's the pollution from the smoke. And we'll go back. Houston, 54. LA, 55. And I was going fast. I didn't see anywhere in Australia. Seattle is 69. That is all from the smoke up there. And Portland is 89. San Francisco is 92. 96 in Washington, D.C. Minneapolis, 99. Detroit, 100. And we get this far down, and it's bad, but not as bad as Ho Chi Minh City. All right, there are currently no tsunami watches, warnings, or threats in the United States. And we go over here and see that today's global seismic activity level is moderate. And these prognosticators, no, maybe later. These prognosticators say that the chain of earthquakes are possible from California down through Mexico all the way to South America. So magnitude of 6.0 in Russia occurred 98 kilometers east of Servo-Kursk. Was felt by an estimated 6,000 people. No damage. All right, let's close this. And so moderate conditions. Let's go look at volcanoes. Well, Great Sitkin, you are code orange today. I don't have a hard time pronouncing that one. Shaishaladin, well, you're code yellow. Where the heck is Shao? Where the heck is that? Volcano, Alaska. All right, so it's part of the Great Sitkin. There you go. Didn't know that. And Kilauea, you are a code orange for volcano watch today. And let's see, the latest earthquake was, no, that can't be right. 5 hours, 43 minutes ago. No, that can't be right. Well, it is. It was a 5.1 in Afghanistan, 5.3 6 hours ago in Taiwan. And we continue to go back and see the most recent one in the United States. South Carolina had a few small tremors. Yeah, nothing showing there. All right. Check 4.4. And going back 24 hours, or going back past 24 hours, we don't see anything. So let's see if we can. Where did we do it? Go away. I got to close it up here. All right, we're running out of time here, guys and gals. So, but it looks like as far as earthquakes on the global map, nothing really in the United States in the past 24 hours. This one today just totally crashed on disaster alert. I'm not really sure what it's doing. It's been doing that all day and hampering the system. And no, we've only got 5 minutes left. So let's go over here and see. Chris says, I had no idea there was Sitkin until this summer. Its greatness was even bigger and unknown. There you go. We can see here in the marine traffic, thinking back about the storm, it's really not interfering even with any trade or traffic from the sea as it comes across the drink. So that's good news. It hasn't affected anything. If you remember, just a few weeks ago when the hurricane was here, there was big swaths of open areas around it where it had plenty of room to navigate and not interfere with anything. Let's go over here and check out real quick because we are about out of time. We'll pull this out, make this full screen, and we'll see. I don't want to zoom in because somebody got in trouble for doing that. Well, I can't say who, but you see a lot of this area here. This is all operations with Blackhawks and ICE. So we don't want to mess with those guys too much. I don't want to knock on my door. That's a transport. Yesterday at one point in time, there was 50 tankers up. So if you figure 50 tankers are up in the air, each tanker can support 30 aircraft. Just think about that were up and over us. So this one's running a route of doing something with fighters from, it's going all the way up from, it looks like Montgomery back down to Tampa in a circle. And I'm going to guess this one probably just came off of it. Nope. This one was running circles up the Atlantic coast. And so we can see there, this is probably a trainer. It's probably a dignitary. Nope. That one's just hauling troops, personnel, equipment. Maybe some bad guys. I don't know. Maybe. What do I know? And that's just transport. I'm trying to find if we see any routes going across the country. Nope. Right now, it looks like most of their routes they've been doing have been at night. So we'll hop out to the East Coast. Yesterday, remember we saw some sub hunters were scanning up and down the coast. And that one there doesn't have a call sign. Yep, that's a tanker. He's just starting his route somewhere. He's out pretty much out of southern California. And what's this one here? Yep, he is too. So they're running. Something's going on up and down the coast. We're probably just doing training, but that's a dignitary where they are supporting the fighter aircraft. So no call sign. What are you? I won't tell you. All right. Yeah, there's a tanker there. It's now this might be in relationship to firefighting efforts up here in the West. We're talking about Seattle, Portland, Oregon, that area. That may be relationship to the firefighting activity. So, but I don't know. All right, we'll get out of here. I don't think this. If we zoom out, this is pretty much all of the non-civilian aircraft up in the air, flying around, training, moving troops, moving people, stuff around. If you zoom out, let's do this real quick because I was talking about this earlier. You zoom out and come over here. We sure do have a lot of activity over here. You know, that's from the Royal Air Force. It's coming up out of France. And what do we have over here? That's helicopters. And well, there's one you don't see often there. It's a Russian plane. That's got to have some dignitaries. You don't see a Russian plane up too often. That's Denmark. Let's see. Russia, you really hardly ever see. Yeah, there's a heavy lift. It's bringing something back across the drink. And Italy, looks like Italy, it's up in the air, moving around. We're seeing a lot of foreign governments up and moving today. All right, we're about out of time, guys and gals. I have bitched, twisted your ear all day. If you want to shoot me a message, you can do so at sportcat@protonmail.com. If you want to send a voice message, you can go to speakpipe.com/sportcat. Shoot me a message. Let me know what's on your mind. I'm not afraid to play it. We will be more than glad to discuss things, even if I'm wrong. And let's see. I didn't hear about this one, but in Kansas City, there was a police officer line of duty death. That would have been yesterday. Police officer Hunter Simonsik. I don't know him. It doesn't really have any additional information. I'm sure you can find out. And 53 firefighter fatalities. What was the total on the number of fire or police officers year to date? It's always a high number. Year to date, this time last year, 60. Line of duty deaths this time last year, 60. Line of duties total last year, 167. And do we have a number for this year's line of duty deaths? I don't see a number. So it should be 0. Be honest with you. All right, let's get out of here. Let's look at Bitdefender as we go out of here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, listening to me bitch and my antics. I will be back tomorrow. I'm here every Monday through Friday from 1 o'clock Eastern time to 3 o'clock Eastern time. If you want to listen, I have a paranormal show. Tonight we have two lady authors on. One's going to be talking about young adults in paranormal activity. And the other one, well, I can't confirm or deny. She may be a CIA agent that has a paranormal story to tell. So tune in tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern time. We run from 9 to 11, two authors, 1 hour each. And then tomorrow, of course, we'll be back with this. And then tomorrow night, we have the Big Brother USA Big Brother show on. They have a live eviction Thursday night. We'll come on after that, talk about the week's antics, talk about other things. Big Brother, so tune into that. And of course, then we'll be back on Friday listening to the Daily Gazette 1 to 3. And I want to throw this out there in case any police officers happen to be listening, or anyone who watches the television show On Patrol Friday and Saturday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. till midnight Eastern. there's anybody on that would like to talk about that show, do a live show about it, let me know. I'm looking to see if there's any co-hosts that are interested in doing that. I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled enough, pissed off enough people, and my day's work is done. Everybody have a great day. Sportcat, I'm the hell out of here. See y'all tomorrow or tonight.